Good morning, students. Uh, Yesterday we were discussing about the liquid dosage forms, and in liquid dosage form we have studied or discussed about the gargles, throat pains, Dutches. So, in today's lecture we will start from the enemas. So, first of all, let us see the definition of the enemas. So, basically, they are the solutions which are basically monophasic or suspensions. The solutions are monophasic and suspensions are the biphasic, and which are intended for introduction in the rectum or colon to cause evacuation or to bring about a local or systemic therapeutic action. So sometimes they are used for diagnostic purposes. For example, X-ray examination of the lower bowel, and patient require pharmacist help to take such type of medications. So if we look at the classification of the enemas, they are of three types on the basis of their uses. First one is cleansing or evacuating enemas, carminating enemas, retention enemas, lubricating enemas, and medicated enemas. And in case of cleansing or evacuating enemas, tap water, weak soap suds, and saline are used. In case of carminating enemas, milk and molasses, turpentine, and soap suds or olive oil are used. And in case of retention enemas, chloral hydrate, perialdehyde, warm oil, starch, and water are used. And in case of lubricating enemas, vegetable oil or mineral oil are used. And in case of medicated enemas, sodium dihydrogen phosphate, sodium phosphate, dictyl sodium sulfosuccinate, they are used. So usually volume of 500 ml to 1000 ml of enema solution is introduced depending on the age and condition of the patient. So before administration, it should be warmed up to body temperature, and if the volume is large. So, however, small volumes of 100 ml to 200 ml can be introduced as such. So they are supplied or packed in a color fluted glass bottles or in single-use plastic containers. So the containers are fitted with the rectal nozzle, which should be lubricated before the content of bottle is administered. Um, it should be lubricated because it may cause injury in the rectum. So the bottles are supplied or packed in a the enemas are supplied or packed in a color fruit bottles or in a single-use plastic containers, so which are filled with a rectal nozzle. So label on the bottle must be Dexter's Life for external use only. Lubricate the nozzle before administration. It must be very important point. So next is warm the solution up to 70 degrees centigrade if volume is large, along with all other necessary requirement of liquid dosage form for external use. Next we have is eye drops. So they are the sterile aqueous or oily solutions for instillation into the eye. So they are used for the localized action of the drugs on the surface of eye or on its interior part. So eye drops must have the following characteristics: it should be sterile, it should be stable, it should be free from the foreign particles, the pH should be 7.4, which is pH of the lacrimal secretion, and it should be acetonic with lacrimal secretion. So the eye drops are always supplied in small volumes, and usually the volume is not more than 15 ml. So it is to avoid repeated use of the same preparation for a long time. So they are supplied in glass or plastic bottles with either a separate dropper or built-in dropper. So the labels of the eye drops, they must be mentioned like for external use only. do not touch the dropper or built-in dropper. And avoid contamination during use, and discard after 1 month of opening of the container, and along with other necessary requirement of liquid dosage forms for external use. So next we have is eye lotions. So the eye lotions are the sterile aqueous solutions which are used for irrigating or washing the eye. So they do not contain any bactericide if used for first aid purposes over a period of 24 hours. Also, they may be aqueous solutions containing bactericide for intermittent use up to 7 days. So they are generally used to remove foreign substances from the eye with the help of clean eye bath or sterile fabric dressing, or by flowing large volume of solution quickly over the eye. So they are supplied in concentrated form and are required to be diluted with equal volume of sterile warm water immediately before use. They should be isotonic and free from the foreign particles to avoid irritation to the eye. So they are supplied in glass or plastic fluted airtight containers. So the labels must be directions like for external use only. Dilute the solution with equal volumes of sterile warm water. Discard after 24 hours of opening the container, and after 7 days of opening the container. If solution is containing bactericide, it must contain in short method of using the lotion. Next we have is eardrops. So the eardrops are the medicated solutions to be instilled into the ear with the help of a dropper. Eardrops are used for cleaning or for treating the infections. So cleaning of the ear is required because earwax, which is a mixture of the secretions of the subcutaneous and ceruminous glands, get accumulated and block the canal. So they are supplied in small volume bottles with either a separate dropper or built-in dropper. So nowadays eye drops and ear drops preparations are manufactured commonly if it requires the same type of therapeutic action. But one thing should be remembered, that each eardrop alone cannot be used as eye drops, while eye drops alone can be used as a ear drops. So labels on the bottle must be directions like for external use only, along with other necessary requirements of liquid dosage form for external use. Next we have inhalations. So they are the liquid solutions or suspensions preparations consisting of volatile substances. So they are used to relieve congestion and inflammation of the respiratory tract. So inhalations may be inhaled from handkerchief or absorbent pad, or they may be added to hot about 65 degrees centigrade water, and vapor is inhaled for few minutes. Vapors are inhaled for about period of for about 5 to 10 minutes. So they are supplied in a fluted glass bottles, which should be airtight, and labels on the bottles must be directions like for external use only, store in a cool place for nasal inhalation, and the quantity required to be added in hot water. So they should also possess the other necessary requirements of liquid dosage forms for external use. Next we have is aerosols. So they are the liquid preparations, include solutions, monophasic, colloidal solutions, suspensions which are biphasic, packaged in a pressurized containers. So the drug is dissolved in a solvent or suspended in the propellant. So later is a liquefied gas that vaporizes when the valve is open. So medicament is discharged in the form of mist or very fine globules. So the dose is controlled by using metered valve device in case of powdered drug. So the patients are warned about the danger of using excessive dose than prescribed. So they are used for both orally and topically, and oral aerosols have been used for the symptomatic treatment of asthma as well as for the treatment of migraine headache, while topical aerosols have been used to treat many dermatological manifestations. So they are supplied in a specially or special assembly called aerosol containers, and label must be directions like for oral use or for topical use, and avoid inhaling in case of product do not to be inhaled. So keep away from eyes or other mucous membranes and contents under pressure. So do not puncture or incinerate container. So do not expose to heat or store at temperature above 49 degrees centigrade. So keep out of the reach of the children, and other necessary requirements of liquid dosage forms are also depicted on the labels. So next we have is parenteral solutions. So these solutions are sterile drug solutions which are intended for administered by injection under or through one or more layers of skin or mucous membrane. So they are to be introduced into the internal body compartment, and one has to be very careful about the sterility, isotonicity, and clarity. And they must possess absolute properties of parenterals, and they are supplied in containers from 1 ml ampule to 500 ml infusion bottles depending on the requirements. So the label must be all the necessary direction of liquid dosage forms for internal use in addition to the route of administration, which might be either intramuscular, intravenous, IC, which is intracutaneous. So these must be depicted clearly on the label with the a dose to be administered at a time of if the multi-dose container is used. So the parenteral solutions, they require the special persons like doctor, compound road trained nurses for their administration. Patient cannot be administered themselves, so they are not to be administered by the patients. So the to administer the dose, a device called syringe with hypodermic needle is required, which should be either sterilized, disposable, or it must be sterilized before being used. So that's why nowadays it is advisable to use disposable syringe to avoid the infections of fatal disease like AIDS and hepatitis. So next topic we have is problems in the formulation of monophasic liquids. So in the formulation of monophasic liquid, there are many types of problems which are going to discuss below. So as such pharmacists, they do not come across any problem if drug is dissolved easily in the solvent system. So but if the solubility of compound is not up to the mark in the solvent system, then it must create problems for the pharmacist. So because he or she have to make it monophasic solution, so that it can be provided in the desired concentration of drug in a particular dose. So now we have three types of monophasic liquors, or you can say the monophasic liquors can be classified into three types or three classes. First one is micromolecular solution, second one is micellar, and third one is macromolecular solutions. So the micromolecular solutions, they consist of micro units which can be either molecular or ions: water, alcohol, sodium ions, chloride ions, sucrose, and glycerin. So in general, the size should be of the order of 1 to 10 angstrom. Next we have is micellar solutions. So they consist of aggregates which are called micelles of the solute molecules or ions, and the visual properties of these solutions such as clarity and viscosity resemble those of micromolecular solutions but differs in the vapor pressure, osmotic pressure, and conductance. Third we have is micromolecular solutions. So they are systems where the solute is molecularly disposed just as the micromolecular solutions, and the molecular weight of the size of macromolecules are of large magnitude, which shows unique properties of the solution. So the terms solvent and the solute used in liquid preparations are arbitrary. So usually the liquid component is considered to be the solvent and the solute gaseous component to be the solute. So it is the presumed that solvent dissolves the solute hence the term solubility comes in the picture. So the components are liquid. It is advisable to use the term miscibility rather than solubility and describing the mutual affinity of the compounds. So thus sodium chloride is soluble in water, glycerin is miscible, and chloroform is slightly miscible with water. So depending on the content of solute in solved at a room temperature, the solution can be categorized as follows. Dilute solutions. So it contains very small amount of solute in solution. Concentrated solution, it contains large amount of solute in solution. And saturated solution, it contains maximum amount of solute in solution. And next is supersaturated solutions. It contains more than the maximum amount of solute which could have accommodated. So this solution is unstable and might revert to the stable saturated solutions. So to formulate a liquid dosage form stable and up to the mark in all respects, following problems are to be discussed with their proper remedies. First one is solubility, second one is viscosity, third one is appearance, fourth one is sterility, fifth one is preservation, sixth one is taste and flavor, seventh one is stability, and the last one is tonicity. So that is enough for the day, and in the next lecture we will discuss about the prop, properties of solubility, viscosity, appearance, sterility, etc. So thank you, students.